Hello students, welcome to this session of previous year questions related to science and technology. So now let us discuss questions from 2018. First question is, consider the following pairs of terms seen in the news and the context or topics related to those terms, right? So we have certain terms and the context of those terms. First, Ballet 2 experiment, and it is related to, means it is matched with artificial intelligence. Second, blockchain technology, and its context is digital or cryptocurrencies. Third, CRISPR-Cas9, and its context is particle physics. Right, so we are supposed to find out which are the pairs that are correctly matched. So let us consider the third pair, CRISPR-Cas9. By now, this term has become very popular because it is a genetic engineering tool, the most sophisticated gene editing tool developed by human beings. Fine. So it is not at all related to particle physics, and hence third pair is incorrectly matched. So if you remove third option, you will be able to get the answer, right? So blockchain technology pair with digital currency is correct, but the Ballet 2 experiments pair with AI is incorrect, right? So answer for this question is 2 only, mentioned in option B, right? So this is the elimination that we have used here. So you should practice, as we have already discussed, you should practice this kind of methodology to answer questions, because this is very important for multiple choice questions, right? Next now. So answer for this is B. Next question. With reference to the genetically modified mustard, GM mustard, which is also known as DMH11, Dhara mustard hybrid 11, developed in India, consider the following statements. First, genetically modified mustard has the genes of a soil bacterium that give the plant the property of pest resistance to a wide variety of pests. Second, GM mustard has the genes that allow the plant cross-pollination and hybridization. Third, GM mustard has been developed jointly by IARI and Punjab Agricultural University. And we are supposed to find correct statements from these 3 statements about genetically modified mustard. So first statement is incorrect. Why? Because GM mustard do not contain any gene from soil bacterium. Fine. So the soil bacterium generally used to make or used to produce genetically modified varieties of crops is Bacillus thuringiensis. Fine. So this Bacillus thuringiensis, that means BT, is not used in genetically modified mustard, and hence first statement is incorrect statement. Second, GM mustard has the genes that allow the plant cross-pollination and hybridization. Fine. So there are 3 genes that are present in GM mustard, and they are bar star, barnase, and so these are the genes that are present in the genetically modified mustard. And one of the properties of, or one of the problems with respect to development of GM mustard was, mustard, we know that it is self-pollinating crop. That means the flower of mustard consists of both male as well as female gametes, and that's why it is very difficult to carry out cross-pollination. But that has been achieved with the introduction of certain genes in GM mustard, and that has allowed scientists to carry out cross-pollination as well as hybridization, right? So second statement is correct statement. Because of the genes introduced in mustard, cross-pollination and hybridization of mustard was made possible. Third statement, GM mustard has been developed jointly by IARI and Punjab Agricultural University. So this statement is again incorrect because it is developed by the center in Delhi University, and the head of that particular panel who has developed GM mustard is Deepak Pendal, right? So Punjab University participated in the testing of testing of GM mustard, but they have not developed it as such, and hence third statement is also incorrect statement. That's why answer of this question is B, 2 only, right? Next question now. So there is one passage given by UPSC in 2018's question paper. So we will discuss this passage. Here, while discussing, we will focus upon the devices that are being highlighted or that are being mentioned in this question, right? So let us start. When the alarm of your smartphone rings in the morning, you wake up and tap it to stop the alarm, which causes your geyser to be switched on automatically. Fine. So what you have done? You have tapped your smartphone to switch off your alarm, and as a result of which the geyser is switched on automatically. The smart mirror, so it is mirror, smart mirror in your bathroom shows the day's weather and also indicates the level of water in your overhead tank. After you take some groceries from your refrigerator for making breakfast, it recognizes the shortage of stock in it and places an order for the supply of fresh groceries. So what you have done in the second statement, the smart mirror in your bathroom shows the day's weather. So the smart mirror tells you about the weather of the day. At the same time, it also tells you about the level of water in the overhead tank. So it is a smart mirror. Next, when you take some groceries from your refrigerator senses that the stock of groceries has reduced, and thereby it automatically places order with the online grocery supplier. Next, when you step out of your house and lock the door, all the lights, fans, geysers and AC machines get switched off automatically. Next, on your way to office, your car warns you about traffic congestion ahead and suggests an alternative route. And if you are late for a meeting, it sends a message to your office accordingly, right? So in this particular passage, they have mentioned about few devices: smartphone, geyser, smart mirror, overhead tank, refrigerator, all lights, fans, geyser, AC machines, and your car as well. Now the question is, in the context of emerging communication technologies, which one of the following terms best describes to the above scenario, right? So this scenario of various machines or various devices that you use being networked is described best by which of the terms mentioned in the options. So there are some terms that are mentioned in the options like border gateway protocol, Internet of Things, Internet protocol, and virtual private network. But we know that this particular para is related to Internet of Things. What is Internet of Things? See this term, Internet of Things. In this term, things are the physical world devices, which may be anything. They may be your smartphone, they may be a mirror in the bathroom, it may be geyser, refrigerator, AC machines, or your car. Right? All these are physical world devices. And when these physical world devices are networked together, thereby allowing their use and control with the help of internet, that technology is known as Internet of Things. So in Internet of Things, physical world devices are networked together and they can be used, controlled with the help of internet from remote distance, which allows their efficient use. Right? So with the help of these, efficient use of the devices is allowed, and that enhances the performance of these devices and also the experience of the user. Right? So this para is about Internet of Things, the upcoming technology which will be ushered in with the help of 5G technology. So 5G technology is the next generation of mobile telephony, which will not only allow higher data speed, but also it will help us to usher in the era of Internet of Things. Right? So the answer for this question is Internet of Things mentioned in option B. Right? Next question now. In which of the following areas can GPS technology be used? So GPS is a navigation and positioning service technology. Fine. So with the help of GPS, what kind of services we get? We get navigation and positioning services. And they are asking us which are the applications out of these three in which GPS can be used. So for mobile phone operations, yes, obviously the Google Map, whatever we use GPS. So first is correct. Second, banking operations, yes, in banking operations also the GPS is used in various machines, especially the ATM machines and also the vans that are that carry the notes, the currency notes. So second statement is also correct. Third is controlling the power grid. So we can manage power grids in a better way with the help of GPS, right? So GPS allows, or use of GPS is found in all these three applications, and hence answer is 1, 2 and 3 mentioned in option D, right? Next question now. Next question is the terms WannaCry, Petya and Eternal Blue, sometimes mentioned in the news recently, are related to which of these? So these are the terms related to cyber security, because WannaCry and Petya were the ransomware attacks that occurred in 2016 and 17. Right? Same is the case with Eternal Blue. And that's why answer for this question is C, cyber attacks. So WannaCry, Petya and Eternal Blue are cyber attacks. Next question. 3D printing has application in which of the following, right? So 3D printing is a new form of manufacturing which is quite different from the conventional manufacturing, because in 3D printing we use layer by layer manufacturing of 3D products, right? So 3D products in the 3D printing are manufactured with the help of adhesive technology or adhesive manufacturing, where we put layer by layer structures. We put layer by layer structures to produce a particular product, right? But in the traditional manufacturing, it is not adhesive manufacturing, rather it is subtractive manufacturing, where we have a raw material, and from that raw material we produce certain product by eliminating or removing certain non-useful products, right? So 3D printing is different from traditional printing and traditional manufacturing, and we can use 3D printing for many applications. So before we discuss this particular question, so 3D printing uses computer aided design to create three-dimensional objects through a layering method. Through a layering method, that means the layers of raw material are laid one over another. Sometimes it is also referred as additive manufacturing. 3D printing involves layering materials like plastic, composites, or biomaterials to create objects that range in shape, size, rigidity, and odor. So these are the products that can be produced with the help of 3D printing. They may be consumer products like eyewear, footwear, design, furnitures; industrial products, that means development of certain prototypes, tools, functional end use parts, etc.; dental products, prosthetics also; then architectural scale modules and maquettes. Next, reconstructing fossils, replicating ancient artifacts, reconstructing evidence in the forensic pathology, and movie props. So they have application in any sector of life. We can produce any product with the help of 3D printing. So in this particular question, first statement is preparation of confectionery items. Yes, that is also possible with 3D printing. Second, manufacturing of bionic ears. Yes, that is also possible. Automotive industry is the industry where 3D printing has its major application. Fourth, reconstructive surgeries. Yes, as we have already discussed, prosthetics can also be produced with the help of 3D printing. Next, data processing technologies. Yes, various hardwares needed for data processing can be produced with the help of 3D printing. And that's why answer for this question is D, all of the above. 3D printing, being an additive form of manufacturing, can produce any of the products provided there is availability of file, that means the file based upon which 3D printing works, and also the raw material. The disadvantage with 3D printing is that the raw material which can be used in 3D printers is quite limited. That means not all the products, that not all the raw materials can be used for the manufacturing of 3D, can be used in the 3D printing. That is not the case, right? So all the raw materials cannot be used for the manufacturing in 3D printing, and that is one of the limitations of 3D printing. And talking about this question, all these applications can be developed with the help of 3D printing, and hence answer is D, 1, 2, 3 and 5. Next question now related to IRNSS. with reference to the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, that means IRNSS, consider the following statements. First, IRNSS has 3 satellites in geostationary orbit and 4 satellites in geosynchronous orbit, right? So this statement is correct statement because there are 7 satellites functional in the IRNSS series or IRNSS system, and that's why, and out of those 7 satellites, 3 are in geostationary and 4 are in geosynchronous orbit. That's why first statement is a correct statement. Second, IRNSS covers entire India and about 5,500 square kilometers beyond its borders. This statement is incorrect because IRNSS covers entire India and 1,500 kilometers beyond Indian landmass, and that's why second statement is incorrect. Third statement, India will have its own satellite navigation system with full global coverage by middle of 2019. This statement is again incorrect because as of now, ISRO do not have a plan to have its own global navigation system. That's why third statement is incorrect. And hence answer of this question is A, 1 only, right? Now the next question. Question is, with reference to India's satellite launch vehicles, consider the following statements. So the launch vehicles that are active right now for ISRO are PSLV, that means Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, and GSLV, that means Geosynchronous Launch Vehicle. So the question is related to PSLV and GSLV. First statement, PSLVs launch satellite useful for Earth resource monitoring, whereas GSLVs are designed mainly to launch communication satellites. This statement is correct statement because the payload capacity of PSLV is limited and it is around 1450 kilograms in low Earth orbit. And we know low Earth orbit is primarily used for those satellites which are used which are launched for the applications like Earth observation. And that's why PSLVs are primarily used for launching Earth observation satellites. But that does not mean PSLV cannot launch these satellites in higher orbits. Yes, PSLV can launch satellites in higher orbits as well, but with the satellite should have bit lesser weight, right? So first part of first statement is correct. Second, GSLVs are designed mainly to launch communication satellite. That is also a correct statement because GSLVs have higher payload capacity, as a result of which they can take heavy satellites in the higher orbits. And those heavy satellites are often communication satellites. And hence, first statement is correct statement. Second, satellites launched by PSLV appear to remain permanently fixed in the same position in the sky as viewed from a particular location on Earth. This statement is incorrect because the satellites in geostationary orbit will look stationary or permanently fixed over a location in sky as observed from the Earth. But geostationary is the higher orbit and it is GSLV that is used for the launch of satellites in geostationary orbit. And hence, second statement is incorrect. It is not PSLV but GSLV. If satellites are launched using GSLV, they can be placed in geostationary orbit. And geostationary orbit is that orbit where the objects in such orbits look stationary observed from Earth's surface, right? So this statement is incorrect. Third statement, GSLV Mark III is a 4-staged launch vehicle with the first and the third stage using solid rocket motors and the second and fourth stage using liquid rocket engines. So again, this statement is incorrect because GSLV is a 3-stage launch vehicle. GSLV is not 4-stage. GSLV Mark III is not a 4-stage, but it is a 3-stage launch vehicle. And the first stage is of solid propellant, second is of liquid propellant, and third stage is cryogenic upper stage, right, where cryogenic engines are used. And that's why the description of GSLV Mark III given in the question is incorrect. So GSLV Mark III is not a 4-stage satellite launch vehicle, rather it is a 3-stage satellite launch vehicle, and the description that is being given is related to PSLV, not GSLV, right? So based upon our discussion, only first statement is correct statement, and hence answer is A1 only, right? So that is about our discussion of these questions. So I hope you have understood these questions. So we will meet in the next session and we will resume our discussion of questions from science and technology. So that is about today's session. Thank you for your time. I am Rajvardhan Bodekar signing off. Thank you.